Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Can Do Entertainment Presents May the Force Be With Who. Now, sorry it's taken me a bit to get a video up, had some stuff going on, but on with the show, this is it. Now I'm finally doing my long overdue book review for Star Wars Aftermath, and I know what you're saying. Hey man, that book is old. And you are correct, it is old. It came out last September on Force Friday, but you know, we'll get to that in a second. And hey man, didn't the sequel to that book, Aftermath Life Debt, just come out a couple days ago? You are correct. That book did just come out 2 days ago. And when I get that book and read it, I will also do a review for it as well. But right now, we're going to do the review of Star Wars Aftermath. Now basically, this is the first book in new canon that is tackling the era from Return of the Jedi to The Force Awakens. As a matter of fact, it says right here at the top of the book, The Journey to The Force Awakens. And you're thinking, oh, we're going to find out what happens to Han and Luke and Leia and, you know, our favorite band of rebels. No, we don't. This book, written by Chuck Wendig, focuses on a brand new group of characters. The main character being a rebel pilot named Nora Wexley and her son Timonin, who we later will come to recognize as the character Snap Wexley, the Greg Grunberg character from The Force Awakens, and a Imperial deserter who used to be a, what was he? He was a loyalty officer, I believe, a former Imperial loyalty officer. His name was Sinjir, and a Zabrak assassin named Jas, and a converted battle droid that Timonin has changed from a Roger and turned into basically an advanced killing machine called Mr. Bones. Those are our main characters in this novel, and to tell you the truth, they just really don't kind of grab you. And a lot of the story is focusing on Nora's strained relationship with her son Timonin, because she went off to fight the rebellion and left her son alone on the planet Akiva. And, you know, he's being a, kind of a grumpy, bitchy teen about it, going, oh, you and Dad ran off to fight the rebellion and I was here all by myself and I'm going to be a pouty teen about it. And, yeah, it's just wasn't the book we were, wanting. We were wanting to know, hey, what were Luke and Han and Leia doing? It don't happen in this book. We get introduced to these other 5 characters. Now, there are some characters from the original trilogy that do pop up. Mon Mothma pops up in some chapters where the New Republic is trying to get set up and trying to establish the new government. Admiral Akbar, it's a trap! He pops up, and they've got some stuff going on about, wanting to demilitarize the government and, where they're going to set up the capital of the New Republic. But it's just it's not really the story we were hoping for in this whole post-Jedi leading up to The Force Awakens. It was kind of just, And I mentioned the planet Akiva, where most of this action takes place. On the planet Akiva, the Imperial Remnant is having a summit where basically all the surviving, admirals and fleet captains and even some aides to the Emperor are banding together to try to find out, okay, what the hell are we going to do now, and who's in charge, and, should we, try to make people think that Palpatine is still alive, or some even do think that Palpatine is still alive, and what are we going to do now? And that's one of the more interesting stories of the book, is the bitching and the bickering and the infighting between the Imperial Remnant. And there's a character in, the Imperial side of the story, Rey Sloane, which she is a recurring character. She originally showed up in John Jackson's A New Dawn. So she's a strong character in this book. And one of the other characters that I mentioned earlier, Sinjir, the former Imperial loyalty officer, he's a standout character too. It's just the rest of the characters, you just kind of, it's not what we want. Another returning character from the original trilogy is Wedge Antilles, and there's kind of a side plot where he gets captured by the Imperials and tortured and beat to death, or not beat to death, but has the crap kicked out of him. And it's just not enough. And in between some of the main chapters, they have these interludes It's basically kind of cluing you in as to what's going on in other parts of the galaxy after the Empire has fallen. There's an interlude that happens on Coruscant right as the statue of Palpatine is being pushed over. You can see it in the special edition of Return of the Jedi about, you know, people, you know, rioting in the streets, hey, the Emperor's dead, and then, you know, the Imperial forces, you know, attacking them, and that's, you know, that's one. And then there's some stuff on Bespin in one of the interludes. And then there's also an interlude on Tatooine where a certain bounty hunter's Mandalorian armor turns up. I think we all know whom I might be referring to there. No question, you know, no mention of whether the actual bounty hunter himself is or may have gotten out of a certain Sarlacc pit, but his armor, which they said it was pretty battered and beaten and acid marked, made it out of the Sarlacc pit. But so we know Boba Fett's armor survived in this story. Maybe not Boba Fett himself, but who knows, who cares, we'll find out later. Another interlude, which is setting up the next book in the Aftermath trilogy, the interlude with Han and Chewie. Yeah, Han and Chewie do show up for about 4 pages, and they're basically, it's a lead in to the next story where they're basically going to go liberate the Wookiee home planet Kashyyyk from, you know, the Imperial overlords, because, you know, the Wookiees are all enslaved and being used for labor and things like that. So Han and Chewie are going to fly off and go try to save the Wookiee home planet, which I really, you know, that would have been a much better story. I just, you know, I want to recommend this, but not really. So I've heard good reviews off of Star Wars Aftermath Life Debt, the new book, which is also by Chuck Wendig. Jedi Council's Christian Harloff just is raving about it, says it's a much better book, and, you know, gives it a big thumbs up and says that, you know, it's much more interesting than the first Aftermath. So I'm really hoping so. I'm probably going to pick it up tomorrow, and as soon as I read it, I will give you a, you know, review and let you know what I think. So Aftermath, on a scale of 1 to 5, a 2.5 maybe. The interludes and the character Sinjir and the Imperial stuff is interesting, but there's just too much with the Nora Wexley and her son character that just I just didn't care, and really wasn't invested in the new characters enough to really to give a damn. And it was kind of a bait and switch tactic, you know, was hoping for one story and kind of got several different others that really wasn't what I was wanting. But anyway, that's the review of Aftermath, and sorry it took so long to get a video up. Basically, yeah, like I said, a 2.5 out of 5 for Aftermath. The new book is out now, Star Wars Aftermath Life Debt, and as soon as I get an opportunity, I will get that read and get a review up on the channel. Oh, also, later today, because it's after midnight, it's Friday, July 15th. So later today, the Rogue One trailer drops. So if I get a chance before I go to work, I will do a trailer reaction video. But if I don't, I'm sorry. So, but remember, the trailer for Rogue One, new trailer comes out later today. Star Wars Celebration in Europe also happens this week. So if there's any, you know, big news concerning Rogue One, Episode 8, Rebels, they just dropped a little teaser clip from Rebels Season 3. Ezra's got some short hair and spinning around kicking ass with a green lightsaber, so you know, check on YouTube to see that clip. It's all over everywhere. But anyway, I'm out for now, so I gotta get a Doctor Who video up very soon. But anyway, thank you for watching. May the Force be with Who.